Hi, I'm Ryan CRC. As we all know, the cost of gas has been ridiculously high recently. Many people blame President Biden for this hike. However, the President of the United States, whoever it may be, does not control the cost of gas. Fuel prices are determined by the market and how much oil companies decide to charge for it. So when you go to the polls, please don't let the recent cost of gasoline influence who you vote for. At the beginning of summer, Americans were paying on average $4.79 per gallon of gas, but other countries were paying much higher prices. In Hong Kong, they were paying over $11 per gallon. In Canada, around $6.50. And in the UK, more than $8 per gallon. Obviously, the American president is not raising the price of gas in other countries. Oil companies are global entities who control fuel prices. People who are blaming Joe Biden for high gas prices are either ignorant of the issue or they are flat out lying about it. They want to make Joe Biden look bad, so you will go vote Republican, especially in the upcoming midterm elections. They say gas prices blew up because Biden stopped the Keystone Pipeline deal, but that's not true. We have plenty of pipelines. Besides, Keystone wasn't operational during the Trump and Obama administrations, and yet gas prices were lower then. Furthermore, it would take years to finish the pipeline and start delivering enough oil to actually impact the price of gas. It's not like the cost of gas would go down next week if Biden approved the pipeline. The Keystone Pipeline has nothing to do with current gas prices. Republicans say Biden won't allow oil companies to lease more land so they can drill for oil. But that's total nonsense. Oil companies are already sitting on 15 million acres of land that they've leased, but they're not drilling on. And again, it would take years for oil companies to develop new land and start producing enough oil to impact gas prices. So nothing that they're potentially going to do in the future is going to affect gas prices right now. Although Joe did temporarily suspend new leases so they could investigate the impact of future drilling on the environment, he has since then approved and resumed the leasing of land to oil companies. Likewise, oil companies have over 9,000 permits to drill, but they're simply not using them. Biden himself has approved over 3,500 of these permits, and he has publicly told oil companies to start producing more oil, but he can't make them. Environmentalist groups are actually suing Joe Biden for granting oil companies so many permits and leases and encouraging them to drill for oil. I won't get into that issue right now. Obviously, protecting the environment is very important. But Joe Biden is trying to help families survive this imminent economic crisis. Not only by lowering gas prices at the pump, but also by trying to lower energy costs in general, keeping in mind that many families use gas to cook their food and heat their homes. To help lower fuel costs for our homes and automobiles, Joe Biden ordered the release of petroleum from the strategic reserves. He also, at least temporarily, removed restrictions that will allow companies to sell fuel with a higher level of ethanol. So why are gas prices still so high? Gas prices are off the charts because of supply chain problems, production refinement problems, high demand in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the war between Russia and the Ukraine. But the biggest reason for the spike in gas prices is oil companies are using the COVID-19 pandemic as an excuse to rob customers. We know they are price gouging because major oil companies like BP, ExxonMobil, Chevron, and Shell are all recording record profits. They are making more money now than they were before the pandemic. Sources are listed below in the description. If they were raising the price of gas only to cover the higher cost of production and shipping, they would not be recording record profits. But oil companies are drilling deep into our pockets and pumping out our money because they are greedy, plain and simple. The people who run these companies are exceedingly wealthy, so they don't care if they have to pay $5 per gallon of gas. Their cash grab has nothing to do with the president or Democrats in general. As a matter of fact, Democrats passed a bill in the House of Representatives that would allow President Biden to declare a state of emergency. This bill would also make it illegal for companies to charge excessive prices for gasoline and home energy fuel. It would also direct the Federal Trade Commission to punish companies that are exploiting consumers. Every single Republican in the House voted against this bill. They want to stick with the narrative that Joe Biden and other Democrats are responsible for the high cost of gas. Despite the fact that we know oil companies are price gouging consumers, Republicans don't want to lay the blame where it belongs. Instead, they want to continue blaming Biden and the Democrats for this economic crisis, so more people will vote Republican in the upcoming elections. As per usual, Republicans are putting the interests of their own political party above the good of the American people. My point is, stop blaming the president for the high prices at the pump. They are not his fault and should not influence your voting. Direct your outrage where it belongs, at the oil companies who are ripping us off and the Republicans who are helping them get away with it. Now, in all fairness, Biden did place sanctions on Russian oil, which led to a small increase in the cost of gas. But that's about the only way the president has affected gas prices. And we should keep in mind this embargo was almost unanimously supported by both Democrats and Republicans in Congress. Most of us don't want to ally ourselves with Russia as they invade the Ukraine, no matter which political party we belong to. But my point is, we can't blame Biden or Democrats for the sanctions that led to higher gas prices when Republicans are equally responsible for approving that embargo. So in the end, when you go to the polls, please remember that it's not Democrats who are driving up energy costs. President Biden is not responsible for oil companies price gouging consumers. He has given them every opportunity to produce more oil, and he has encouraged them to produce more oil to help lower cost of energy both for our homes and for our cars. I'm Ryan CRC. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch similar videos. Also, follow me on social media such as Instagram and Facebook to view more content. Until next time, take care.